I'm Bill Stark, and welcome.
And I'm Tim Fenberg. Glad to be with you today.
We appreciate you taking a few minutes and watching this video today. Each week, we really enjoy sharing leadership ideas and concepts that'll help you be a better leader. And last week we talked about this idea of trust and what does it sound like? What are some words that if you hear these words or maybe don't hear these words in your team, it'll tell you whether or not you have trusting relationships. And we also talked about this whole idea of the fact that in order to build trust, you have to build relationships first. So we're going to dig into that a little bit today, maybe put some meat on the bone, talk about how do you do this in a practical way with your team. So we hope we're able to kind of equip you a little bit today with some ideas around building trust.
So we want to start with you as the leader first. What can you do to model trust? And I think that's a great place to start. And one of the ways is we talk about getting buy-in. And it's really just the way you talk to your team. Maybe it's on a Monday morning meeting, you're sending your crews out to do work, and instead of just telling them what the assignments are going to be this week, maybe ask for their input and really get some clarity there on what you're going to do and make sure that they're involved in that process. Building trust is about you saying as leader, hey, I really want to get your input because maybe I don't know everything I need to know to make good assignments. And I really want to hear from you as a team because I'll adjust the schedule if I need to make sure the work that needs to get done, that that needs to get done, will get done. So just being vulnerable, maybe in the way you do work assignments, could be a great way for you to start that vulnerability. The second thing is, ask for feedback from your team and admit when you're not sure you did things right. Asking, hey, I did a project this way, or I made an assignment this way, or I delegated this with this approach. What did you think about that? Was that effective? Did you, really getting that buy-in, getting them to connect with you and asking for their feedback, we just think is a great way to show that vulnerability. And before you can expect your team members to do it with each other, you really need to start there as a leader yourself.
And when you do ask for feedback or suggestions, and then, every now and then you actually have to take the suggestions, right? You have to maybe change your plans and accommodate some ideas of your team. And when you do that, your team's going to see that you're listening and that you do trust their ideas and that you're willing to take some risks and do some things that they want to do. And that's going to build trust between you and your team. A couple of other kind of practical ideas of some things you can do. Like we talked about last week, a lot of this trust building starts with relationship building. And so we've got a couple of questions we would like to suggest to you to try at your next meeting when you have your team together. Now, this is going to take about maybe 30 minutes or so, and you could do it maybe in shorter increments, but ask everybody 3 questions, to share 3 questions. Number 1, where are they from? How many children were in their family growing up, and what's their birth order? Are they first birth or second, third child? And then the third question is some childhood challenge that you had growing up. It could be that you were bullied. It could be that you were overweight, or it could be that maybe your mom and dad got divorced when you were young, or maybe you had an injury, a serious injury as a child that really affected your life. We want each person to share those 3 answers with the rest of the team. And what's going to happen when they do that is they're going to get a little bit vulnerable. And they're probably going to find things between each other that they can connect to. It may be that if I had a childhood injury, maybe Tim's sister had a similar injury and we didn't know it. So now Tim and I have something in common. We have a bond now that's developed because we have something in common. Another thing that you can do is have a book club. And you don't have to read War and Peace. It could be something simple and short, Who Moved My Cheese or something like that, kind of a light book. Have each person present a chapter each week. And maybe they present it for 5 minutes and they share something about that chapter that affected them or that really spoke to them. Again, they're sharing something that affected them, something that meant something to them. They're being a little vulnerable when they do that. And then, of course, the team can rally around them and kind of support those ideas. And it just does great things for building that relationship. Tim, you want to share the DISC idea?
Well, and the other thing is whenever you can get kind of pair people up on your team. I think you should look for those opportunities to get some one-on-one interactions and then change that up week to week or month to month so people get to know each other and can share something personal on a one-on-one basis. The other thing is DISC. We talked about DISC a lot. In fact, you can go to leadergov.com and have your employees take a DISC, and just having them get that report or see their DISC style, and then having a meeting and just talking about their differences and what their similarities are. We think it's just a great place to get them talking about who they are as people, so that the people that they work with can get a better understanding of really what's underneath the way they do things.
Yeah, that's good. The DISC personality score or style that you're going to get is going to tell you a lot about who you are and kind of generally how you see the world. And other people on the team can speak into that and say, yeah, I see that in Bob, or I see that in Yolanda and the way she responds and that kind of. So it's just going to create more ways for your team to connect to each other and kind of support each other and who they are. But like we said last week, all this takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of intentionality on your part. You have to want to do this. You have to carve out the time to do it. And we just wanted to share with you some very basic, kind of simple ideas, things you can do next week or tomorrow to start to build trust on your team.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and really invest in your team in this most important area of trust. If we can help you in any other ways, we are involved with strategic planning for cities and counties. We do retreats, and of course, professional development is what we love. So again, thank you for your time today. We look forward to seeing you again. Find us on social media, and we look forward to our next time we see each other.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Have a great day.
Bye now.